In this video, you'll learn Helen's lace. Helen's lace is part of the diagonal stitches. It's comprised of two parts and it's easiest when worked by one complete part than the second. It gets its name from the beautiful lace-like design it creates. Once you get the hang of it, it's a fast-moving stitch that creates a nice pattern. This is a stitch best done in a large area where you can get a nice repeat of at least 3 repeats. This stitch can be done with 2 complementary threads or a single thread. Today I'll show you how to do it with silk and ivory and silk lame braid. I'll begin my first sequence with my silk and ivory by pulling up through the back of my canvas and counting 3 canvas holes diagonally. 1, 2, 3, dropping down into that 3rd canvas hole. For the first part of my pattern, I will come directly next to my first stitch, skipping over those 2 canvas holes. And then I will come directly next to it for the 3rd time, repeating that stitch. Now I'll need to leave room for the stitches where my silk lame will go, so I'm going to count down 1 hole and over 1 hole and start my second set of stitches. I'll still count over 2 canvas holes dropping down into that 3rd, but this time I'm going to come directly beneath my first stitch to finish that sequence. Still doing 2 additional stitches, so I have a set of 3. And then to finish out the sequence, I'm gonna come down 1 hole, over 1 hole again, and this time I'll repeat my first sequence and my stitches will come directly next to my first stitch. And then my next one, I'll drop down 1, come over 1. You can see that I'm always skipping over 2 canvas holes. The only thing that's changing with each sequence is the direction of my stitches. And you can see that we've left all of these blank lines for my silk lame to come. Now for my next set of stitches in my second row, I'm going to drop down 1, 2, 3 canvas holes and begin my second row. So I'll still be skipping over 2 canvas holes and then now going down into a dirty hole where my stitches meet up. And your second row is easier because you don't have to do as much counting. You're just gonna follow the pattern that's laid out in your first set. So this time I'll come down 1, 2, 3. And now I'll be coming directly next to these stitches. So I'm going over 1, up 1 now instead of down 1, over 1. Once you've filled out your design area with your first set of stitches, you'll come back in and do your second set of stitches. Even if you're using the same exact thread that you were, do the first stitches first. So what I'm gonna do is come in the direct center of my first row of stitches. So you can see that I have 1 canvas square below and 1 canvas square above. And I will come up through the back of my canvas and I will do the same stitch that I've been doing. So I'll count 1, 2, 3, dropping down into that 3rd canvas hole. And this time I'm going to be working the stitches downward on the diagonal. So I'll come down and I'll count 1, 2, 3 to do my second stitch. And then I'll count down 1, 2, 3 for my 3rd stitch. And then I'll come over and I'll work my way up the canvas. So again, I'll just be working in the center of these stitches. So I'll need to come down 1 more this time. So I'm in the center. So I'll do 1, 2, 3. I've gone ahead and completed all of my silk lame braid stitches by coming between all of my silk and ivory stitches. You'll just continue on by doing your silk and ivory stitches first in that stair-step pattern, and then coming in and working your silk lame braid in between the spaces that you've left. Like I said, you can do this with the same thread or use 2 complementary colors. But you can tell that we've created this beautiful lace pattern, so it really does pop when you use 2 complementary threads.